everybody, and welcome to the Guru and the other guys today. So we've got two special guests with us. It's been a while, but we brought Michael back because I have to be honest, I kind of screwed up the audio in the last podcast. So you would have saw him about 2 weeks ago. So Michael, I apologize for messing that up. You know, the other guy, he just bitches and moans. So, you know. So welcome back, Michael. It's good to see you. Kevin, how are you? How you doing,
Thanks
other
for having
guy?
me.
I'm doing
So
good.
far, so good. Can't complain, I guess.
Good to hear. Okay. So usually we like to start off with getting an update by the other guy usually gives us an update on the market, how it's doing. And then, Michael, you could chime in too because you're a realtor as well. And we got one guy who's down the shore and you're in Florida now, so you can give us a little update on that. And then we could talk a little bit. We're going to talk about gurus today because in my hands, I have this email. And this email is from somebody who got ripped off by my favorite guy and your favorite guy, Pace Morley, who's one of the other guy's favorite men. And Michael, you like that guy too. And who I'm talking about is Grant Cardone. So we'll get to those guys, but let's hear a little bit about the real estate market because I got some good opinions on it. But other guy, we'll start with you, and then Michael chime in when you want to. Go ahead, other guy.
2024.
Okay.
How many percentage-wise? How many cash purchases in the country?
Percentage-wise?
Well, total, in totality. Yeah.
Okay. My guess is, I'm going to say, you're talking about cash purchases, right? People that
cash
only. 60%, I'll say. Michael, what's your guess?
I was going to say like 5 to 10.
I'm going to say
20. Well, you're right in the middle. 25%.
25%.
That's a lot.
So a quarter.
That's a lot of.
It's a lot of cash.
That is a lot of cash.
Yeah, it is a lot. That's because the more people are, mortgages are tough right now.
Well, let me ask you. Let me ask you this:
qualifying and whatever.
Does that break it down into a price range, saying like the majority of it is between like say 200 and 400?
Total houses.
No, I got you. But is there a breakdown of the cost? You know what I mean? Like saying, hey, 2 million and above is only like 1% of that, right? Between 3 and 500 is 60%. Does it break it down like that? Or
no, just in total homes, total
homes.
Settlements.
Okay.
Settlements, yeah.
Okay. What's that tell you?
So that tells me a lot. That tells me, I mean, there is one market. Before I say anything, there is one market that's going to be hot, and it's because of the Canadian dollar is so weak. Buffalo, upstate New York, the Canadians. I just talked to down here. There's a lot of Canadians. She's a realtor, and she said somebody in New York. He's a doctor. He's meeting her this month to go purchase because let's face it, it's a 70%, difference. You can get 30% better money,
right?
In Canada,
Okay.
if you're going the opposite way,
right?
You're going, America to Canadian dollar,
right?
So that's a hot market. I haven't seen any other hot markets. I've seen negative. I just don't think. I think.
You think the market is cooled?
Well, we were cool before. I think it's going to be. If we stay the way we were the last 2 years, we're going to be lucky. I think it goes south. I think it gets worse.
Okay. Michael, what do you think?
I mean, he obviously knows a lot more about this kind of stuff than I do, but just from like the selling and selling standpoint for homes from Philadelphia specifically, I noticed that there are a couple of markets in Philly, some neighborhoods, Temple being one of them. I would say Brewerytown is another one where it's been very stagnant.
Right.
There have been a lot of houses that have been, or properties that have been on the market for a lot longer than maybe we all anticipated.
Yeah.
Right.
But there are definitely some markets in Philly that are okay. But I've noticed that there are certain markets. I have a listing in Brewerytown, 30 plus days so far. It's priced right. I even checked with an appraisal friend of mine. He did a comp for me for free.
Okay.
And he said right on target. I've had one showing.
Wow, one
Well,
showing.
this is the problem too, Mike, is the rates are going up.
Yeah.
Going back up to over 7 now. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is another I read it. I just read it last week. This is going to be a problem. If all this new administration comes in with all their bullshit about tariffs and everything else, and that market goes down like 20%, which some economic people are predicting, we are going to be in bad trouble because everybody's going to stop spending. They are just going to be paralyzed because they're going to say, "Oh, I lost 20% of my equity, my worth." Even though they didn't have it, it's paper. But that's a danger with the market. And people are predicting the market's going to get hit.
Well,
It's not a good situation.
well, well,
We
well,
didn't choose whether I'm not going to say we didn't. What I'm observing what's coming in. We did not choose that small percentage between uh, Harris and Trump on finances, which we should have. What's happening now?
oh, I think you're wrong. I
He
think
was
people.
elected for
I
other.
think they
He
did.
was elected for other reasons.
No,
But the
no, I
fact of
think
the
you're
matter
wrong.
is,
I think you're wrong. I don't want to get too much into
no,
politics,
no,
but I
no.
think
I'm
you're
talking
dead
about
wrong there.
economics. I'm talking
Yeah,
about the
yeah.
market was good. The interest rates were good. Things were
What are you
good.
talking about?
They're
They were at seven
stable.
percent. They weren't good. What are you talking
They're
about? They were
going.
good. Who's in the office right now?
You said, first of all, you said not too long ago in a podcast, this is normal. 6.5, six, a good rate.
I'm agreeing with you. I'm agreeing with you.
We're,
This is normal. Listen, I've been doing this 40 years like you have. These interest rates are normal. But compared, relatively speaking, from the last couple of years,
well,
it's
that's
not normal.
unrealistic. That
I'm,
3%, that was something
I,
fueled by the pandemic
okay.
and different things and
I,
driving
I'm
them.
not. I'm not disagreeing. What
But
I'm
that
listen.
wasn't realistic. It wasn't.
I don't want to get into politics here.
No, we're not
But
getting into politics. We're
but
getting
your
into
argument
finance.
is that people chose one over the other because of economics. And I'm saying, yeah, you're
Not
right.
because of economics.
Because
I'm
the
saying not
economics
because.
were horrible.
No, they weren't. Now the real estate
So
market,
okay.
everybody's what happened the last 4 years? The greatest wealth building in real estate.
For the rich people, for the top 1%, yeah.
Oh no, equity has gone up for everybody in the last 4 years.
Then
No,
why did
that's
they
not
just
true.
listen? I don't
That's
want to
why
get too
they
much into
can't
I don't want
buy.
to get too much into politics. But then why did
Why?
they get voted out of office then?
Why? That is why it's hard to buy a house now. The last 4 years, it has been crazy equity value. Value is going up. That's one of the reasons that new home buyers, the average new
Listen,
home buyer is their
I will
late
just
30s
I'll
now.
just thoroughly
Late
disagree
30s.
with you, totally. But
Wow, we got a realtor here. He
Well, here's the
can
thing.
mediate this.
Here's the thing with rates and because I've refinanced, I've owned this property that I live in currently for 20 years. And even
okay,
back then, we're below 6, below 5. Like I have one mortgage on my other property that's at right around 3. The other one's at
right.
4.5. So those low rates were dating back not just the last 4 years or before that. It
Yeah,
was
for a
dating
long
back
time.
15,
Hmm
20 years ago. So
Rates
it
have
just
been
started
I'm
going up.
talking about
So
equity value, Mike. It's gone up
right.
greater in the last 4 years in the last 20 percentage wise in 30 years.
Yeah, listen, it was a
So
seller's market.
okay,
I'm
so
not
let
disagreeing
me
it was a seller's market. No one's disagreeing with that it was a hot seller's market, but that has completely cooled off now.
But doesn't matter.
well
The
here's the thing.
values aren't going down.
Well,
Well, here's the thing.
you're
The way I get my theory is
hold
this.
on, hold on. Let's all right, go ahead, Michael, you go. You go. Go ahead.
So my theory is this: the reason why I think the housing prices are inflated a little bit too much. I think certain houses aren't worth what they are valued at, I guess, or whatever. But
Okay.
I think a part of that reason combination because of the rates going up, it becomes a seller's market because not that many people want to move and take on go from a 4 to a 7% interest rate
Yeah,
on their new house.
we all
Also,
agree with
there's a
that.
lot of buyers. Right. There's a lot of buyers who don't want to take on the 7, who's waiting for it to go down to like the 6 or even below 6, which is going to take some time, but they're going to wait a little while. But I think the combination of the two is what's causing these prices to go up, to really go inflate. Because I've heard so many stories of fellow realtors saying, yeah, especially if it's in a good school district, mind you, saying that these properties are selling for like a $400,000 listed, is selling for 450, almost 500, because one, there's no inventory for anybody to choose from, and number two, it's so competitive that people need to move because their kids are getting older. They need to get back. They need to start going to school. They are starting to compete with just about everybody else for one or two homes.
Right.
You got 10 people fighting for the same thing. So I think that's what's causing the price increase to go up. And I agree with you in the fact that it's gonna hurt when that becomes a little, when we come back down to reality a little.
But
I just don't know what's going to
And
happen.
what's going to happen with spending? What if your bills are going up, your food bills? I mean, it's going to even be worse. I
Well,
mean,
it's
the
that's
inflation
what I'm
is not
saying.
coming down. That's
I don't see it going. I don't see it getting better anytime in the short term, especially in 2025. I thought it would by now. I said at the beginning of 2024, I said, you know, you got a new president probably possibly coming in with the election and everything. That always changes things. You know, you got momentum. You saw the stock market the way when the day after President
Mhm.
Trump got elected, you saw the stock market
But I think
skyrocket.
a lot of people
That's
are
just
not in
consumer
the
driven.
stock. Majority of people are not in the stock market. That's another thing.
Right,
Your
right,
people
but
buying homes. It's their job. It's how much money do they have, discretionary spending.
can,
It has a lot to do with
can
economics.
I want to ask both of you a question. Do you think that right now the prices are where they are because there's an extreme lack of inventory? And the reason for that lack of inventory is because the rates have crept up to, like you said, 7%. People don't want to sell their house that are comfortably at 2, 3, or even 4%. They don't want to take the house they're in with that rate, then put it on the market, go somewhere else, and get a 7%. Is that why you think that could be a reason why prices are so inflated, or what's your thing? Kevin, you
I
go
think it's all
first, and then
it's
Michael,
all
or
related.
Michael, you
Yeah.
go, and then go ahead. Other guy can go.
Well, short answer, I think it's all related.
Okay.
I think it, because of this is because of that. You know, because this happens and the other thing happens. I think it's just all intertwined where it's not one specific thing, but I think that's a major part of it. I think that's a major factor in it. Just like you said, some people
Okay.
don't want to go from a 4% and almost double to a 7% or seven and a half
Right.
percent.
Right.
Uh, you're talking that their disposable income now becoming a mortgage payment.
Right. What do you
Well,
think, Guru?
part of the problem. Well, prices are going up in the last 4 years, right?
Yep.
Interest rates are going up. That's a double whammy. Like, okay, I got to spend more for that house. I'm talking about the buyer,
Right.
and the rates are higher than they were X amount of years ago. So really, the mortgage payments are crazy. The only thing you can do, and you're not going to do it with PAL, I don't think you are, is to drive those rates down. And certainly, in my opinion, I think we talked about this before, man. You're going to have to get that down there around 5 or below
I agree.
to really move the market.
Well, are you talking about
And
getting it
that's
down to
not going to
5 to
happen, in
what?
my opinion.
To get the market moving again?
Yeah, but I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think nothing's going to happen for 2 years. I think we are in like this purgatory. That's what I think.
Okay, let
I
me ask you
really
that.
do.
Okay, well then that's going to lead me into my next segment then. And this is just my opinion. This market is completely set up for what we do here,
Oh
right?
yeah,
Creative
yeah.
financing. Because listen, and Michael knows this, right? I have a house that I've just took over on a contract. They could not sell it for over 2 years, right? They started at like 2.4, was on the market for a year or so, down to 2.1, couldn't sell it. Then they had it up for at least purchase. 13, they wanted $28,000 a month for 3 years. I went in with a different method, got it under contract, and actually I got a contract coming in on it today, right? And sold it in 30 days with creative financing. Now, the realtor on the other side, and Michael actually saw the house. He drove it, right? And I don't know if it's worth $2 million or not, but that's kind of the offer that's coming in. But my point is that the realtor that I'm dealing with is saying, this is one of the best things I ever heard of. He's like, I can't believe you don't have 100 properties under contract right now using this, because there's so many houses that he knows of that are vacant, that are out there that have been sitting there vacant. He just sent me over 2 properties that have been on the market for 3 years. So
Yeah, but realtors are not going to go for it. Technically, they don't get their commission until they get cashed out to
Right,
sell it.
and a year later.
I mean,
Right, that's right.
yeah, a year, 2 year, whatever your balloon date is.
Yeah, but it's better
But
than getting nothing, though. It's better than having
same
nothing.
thing this summer. Within 30 days, we sold at the shore a condo. You know, you had to start at a low interest rate, then go higher the next, and then
Right,
go to the balloon higher.
right. Well,
But
it's
that's a contract for D.
yep. Well,
We know that. That's what we have done. That's
right.
why this podcast exists, because this market is ideal for the academy.
No,
I mean, it's an ideal situation here because this is a great way to buy homes.
oh,
Everybody is
without
sitting
question.
around holding their hands, twiddling. Oh,
Yeah,
we can't sell.
without
We can't sell. Well, you know, you can sell if you have knowledge, and you're
yep.
not going to get knowledge just sitting waiting for the market to get back. You're
Right,
not. It's not going to happen.
right, right. Well, that brings me into, you know, learning how to do all sorts of creative financing, right? Because it should be a tool in your toolbox. Because listen, you can take anybody who has money and just go out there and buy property. That's easy, right? As long as you
Yep.
know how to run some cash flow analysis. Hey, if I put money down and I buy this house, is my rent going to cover the mortgage and my cost, and am I going to make some cash? Right? I mean, you know, it's 2 plus 2. I mean, you know, literally a monkey can do that, right? You can train somebody to do that. The creative financing is coming along where houses can't sell for whatever reason. Like, Michael, you saw the house that I had under contract, right?
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
house that literally couldn't sell for a bunch of reasons, right? It's one, was overpriced. Two, it sat right on the Schuylkill Expressway. And if anybody lives in Philly or in the suburbs, they know what the Schuylkill Expressway is like. It's like the major thoroughfare, and it's loud as hell, right? And it's taboo on the main line. It was a smaller house, and it wasn't built to mainline qualities, right? So it sat around, you know, but they couldn't sell it asking for a lease purchase at $28,000 a month either. But I gave them an option where, you know, I was lucky enough to find a buyer from New York that said, hey, I don't want to put 500 grand out of my pocket. I like this method. Let's get it done, right? So contracts coming
Well,
in
that's
today.
the conventional, man.
What's that? No, this
It
was
could never be sold for. Yeah,
yeah, this is what's creative finance.
conventional.
Well, this brings me into the point of not like what you were saying about knowledge and understanding how all this stuff works. And it's not as easy as what people think. Now, I know, Michael, you are a guy that can't stand Grant Cardone, right?
Right.
Listen, I have a student that went and spent 35 grand on Grant Cardone, and he didn't know jack. And, you
Right.
know, he knows nothing. Now, I know the other guy, he loves Grant Cardone. He thinks he's the greatest thing since sliced
Yeah,
bread.
yeah. You know, he's so arrogant. He's not even he has no. Oh my gosh, the guy is brutal.
But let me just
He
say this.
really is.
Let me just say this about him. I don't know him as a human being. Okay, I don't know him as a person, what he does or how he acts behind closed doors.
Right.
I'm not necessarily attacking that. I'm just attacking
His
or I
methods.
don't like is what he says on the internet, on his pages about
Right.
how to conduct and get these multi-units, these 20 units, these 100 units properties for like making it seem like you just walk in and you're buying a property for like $10.
Right.
Like
He's-
the
yeah.
way he presents it is very misleading, and that's the problem. That's the issue that I have with him.
Right.
Is that, for example, the one post that I just recently saw was he was like, "Look at this property. This one, I forget where it was, but it's a 20-unit building. The asking price is like 5.5 million." So he broke it down per unit, how much each unit costs. So he goes, all right, so he's doing the whiteboard, doing the math. 5.5, you put 20% down. So you're at whatever, 1 point some million,
Right.
1.4 million. Well, you borrow that from friends and family. Then he did the subtraction. Then you do that, and then you rent it out for this. Like, oh, well, let me go ask my dad for 1.4 million. By the way, Vinny,
Exactly.
throw me a couple bones. Like that's what I'm talking about, which I don't like about him,
Right.
is that he says things that are so misleading and makes it look like to the average person who doesn't really know much,
Right.
like, oh my God, that's it. So I
Right.
just have to get 1.4 million. I can get a 20-unit rental and
Right.
I'll make 10,000 a month on that.
Right.
Like,
Right.
I wish it was that simple.
Of
I wish
course.
it was that simple.
It's insane the way but here's the thing. there's a lot of people out there that think, yes, it is that easy, right? You got a lot of these guys, like I, as much as the other guy and you can't stand Grant Cardone, I can't stand the other guy, Pace Morbley. And I have a letter.
Yeah.
This was, I got turned on. I think the other guy sent it to me. And I won't the guy replied.
No, I sent you the poster.
He
I
sent
gave
me
him
the
your
posting,
number, yeah.
right? And he sent me the posting. I replied to the guy and said, hey, I'd like to get you on the podcast. He doesn't want to come on the podcast. But let me read to you this email that he
So
replied.
he's afraid, Vin. Is he afraid
let me
to
read
come
this
on
to
the
you.
podcast?
Let me read this to you. He says, hey, Vinny, obviously I don't check this email that much, right? Because it's been a while since he got back to me. He says, honestly, I really don't want to reveal my identity about talking about shit about Pace Morbley. If people read my review and decide not to purchase, that's all the satisfaction that I need, okay? My story really isn't that interesting. I made some money with crypto a long while back, pulled it out when I had enough to pay off my house with the winnings. Then after listening to Pace Morby on his YouTube videos, I got sucked into the hype, right? I decided to take some risk. I pulled $300,000 out of my house, quit my job, and tried to do the wholesaling thing by buying a franchise.
What? A franchise?
Hold on. I can't and won't say whether this franchise NDA he signed, but one of the franchise owners may or may not be best friends with Pace Morbley. Okay? I never made a dime with that franchise. Then
What's he talking about? No.
Okay, Pace
What's
Morbley,
he talking about the
sucked
franchise?
Listen,
You lost me on that.
Okay, he got sucked in with Pace Morbley, right? About all the hype. He decided to go with one of Pace Morbley's friends, who's a wholesaler, right?
Okay.
He lost everything. He didn't make a dime off of it.
So it was a significant purchase?
Okay, yes, it was he bought a franchise, okay, off of Pace Morbley's buddy. Listen,
Oh,
Pace
okay.
Morbley has his hands with everybody out there.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So he didn't.
And he
so
probably got a commission on that,
Of course
too.
he did. So he's best friends with. I never made a dime with the franchise. Then I paid a bunch of other wholesalers for help with courses. Real estate, Matt Larson, Ryan Panetta, Justin Colby. Went to the mastermind with Matt Larson in Quad Cities. He wasn't any help. Paid Justin Colby $20,000 for weekly coaching for 6 months.
What? Weekly.
Hold on. We talked maybe 6 times, and I guess he just kept forgetting that he was coaching me, and he kept canceling for one reason or another. Then he took a vacation to Turks and Caicos, or whatever it's called. That one still pisses me off. That's probably only half the story, right? It's half the story and half the people. I just kept paying more and more to different companies and people to try and help me, and ended up basically broke. I think I dropped $10K on a Facebook marketing ad agency that went nowhere. Teamed up with another guy named Reggie Duskin who got me doing cold call marketing, and the VAs dumped with a bunch of money into that, and nothing ever came of it. My best friend, no longer a friend because of this, convinced me to join Pace Morbley's $40,000 mastermind called Avengers, and it convinced me by saying he would give me 20% of the business and we'd be business partners. And of course, nothing happened. Dropped a bunch of money into this business, pitched at the Avenger Mastermind, and lost all that money, right? Went to Titanium Crucible in Texas with RJ Bates. That didn't amount to anything. Anyway, never did one deal. Now I just work a regular job. I owe the IRS a bunch of money for pulling out my retirement. Yes, in addition to the $300,000 mortgage to keep paying my bills. My wife decided to take a vacation from paying any bills for a few years. Since I was starting a business, I told her I had it covered. So I was paying all the bills even though she was still working. Still, I haven't filed taxes in a while. And no, I'm still kind of trying to survive right now and just figuring it out. Anyway, this is just another sob story that nobody really cares about. It makes me sad and angry to think about it. So I really wouldn't want to relive it all and tell it on a podcast. My wife still doesn't know all the damages, so one of these days I have to come clean. Who knows how she's going to react? And honestly, after all of that, I paid all those people to help me, and I still didn't make a dime. It was probably he goes, maybe it was me who was the problem, or maybe it was just, having a job from the Bible or Bible season, and God decided to strip me of everything to test my faith. Peace. Right?
Oh, he's Job. He's
So
Job
there's a
now,
guy
huh?
who wasted
Okay.
everything he had on every one of these scumbag, Pace Morbley at the top of the list,
Oh,
scumbags, and didn't do one goddamn deal. Not one.
Finn, guy is a dope. Thing's writing money.
Yes.
All that money. At some point, don't you say, um,
Don't you say, where the hell's Vinny to help me?
we-
Where's Vinny
But
when
don't
I
you-
need him?
but don't the guy? I don't feel sorry for him.
Oh, I
because
do.
I don't feel sorry
keep
for him
on
either.
paying,
No, I don't feel sorry for him
paying
either.
and paying.
Yeah, no, it's one thing you make one mistake.
Well,
It's like
that's true.
once, right? But the fact that he doubled down and put
Yeah.
another
Well, it sounded like he didn't do more
to-
than he did more than double down. He did about quadruple
He went.
down.
Sounds
Right,
like
but
he went
he
10
did that
times.
based on, based on a friend telling him, yeah, you got to take this course. You got why I think the mentality of a lot of these people that do this and then don't come away with anything, because I'm sure there's some success stories in this.
I doubt it. I disagree with you. I think the only success stories you will ever see from any of those guys, Pace, Morley, Grant Cardone, are guys that actually had money to start with, have a job, have good credit, and they did conventional financing and bought property that way. I guarantee you won't find anybody who ever bought a property using none of their own money. Whether it was hard money, private money, whatever, you won't find it. I guarantee you won't find it. Michael, they would be parading them up and down their podcast if they were.
Well, the thing is, though, my thing is I think there's people out there that fork over a ton of cash like this, right?
Yep.
Just expecting that if I pay 40 grand, 60
I
grand,
agree. Yeah.
that it's just going to work. It's autopilot.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
They're not maybe putting in the work. And again, I don't know this guy from that, but
that's
maybe
true
he doesn't
too.
put in that work. Maybe he didn't follow the instructions or follow the whatever.
That's true too.
Yeah, if you're going to have a conversation with this guy and you're relying on him telling you, all he's going to do is just get up early in the morning, take a cold shower, make the calls, and go out there and hit the pavement and knock on doors. Like that you can get for free from anywhere.
Listen, you can get all this information for free anywhere. It depends on who's teaching it and who's telling you.
Well, you can't rely on these people to just all of a sudden, because you put so much money into it. It's not like it's $100 course. Right. You're talking 60 grand. It's these people aren't going to. These guys aren't going to just like, okay, well, here's a property. Since you paid so much, here's a property you can start with. No,
but Michael, here's the thing. If somebody pays let's just say $40,000,
right?
Okay, listen, I have private students that I charge a lot of money for. Okay, and I revamped my whole thing. So somebody's going to pay me $50,000, right? They're getting all of me. They've got my cell phone number. They're basically becoming a partner of mine, where I'm working with them. I'm calling them. I'm saying, hey, what do you got go? We're setting an agenda out. This is what we got to do. First, they're going to learn how all this stuff works. They're going to get an education. But then we're going to have an agenda of what we're doing. Day 1, day 2, day 3. We got goals set out. How are we going to reach these goals? You know what I mean? Like all these other guys, they take 40 grand and say, good luck, go out there. When you find a property, call me. They don't even know what to look for. Right. You know what I mean?
But you can't take on too many students, though.
But if you have that much cash, to mess around with, like say he put in like 60K total, right?
Right.
60K can buy you a lot of stuff in terms of properties, right?
Yes,
in terms
absolutely.
You can't expect to buy a 20-unit building just because they said so on the internet and say, hey, well, if you give me 100, you can afford these 20-unit properties. That's not how it works.
Listen,
start with a single family that's worth $150,000.
Right.
Put in $3,000 worth of work into it and flip it and learn those mistakes rather than just trying to have someone hold your hand throughout the process. It's just not going to work.
The only way you're ever going to get a big, like a 10, 20 unit, like Grant Cardone is saying, like he talks about doing it with no money down. That's all that is a master lease. That's all that is. It's a master lease, right? But the thing is, What kind of property do you think you're going to get where somebody who owns a 10 or a 20 unit is just going to let it go for no money? What kind of thing do you think you're actually buying at that point? Do you actually think it's something that you really want to own?
Well, do you think that rent is, you don't have to put any work into it? You don't,
Who?
if a 20 building,
Yeah,
you're not putting a couple $100 into a plumbing thing. You're putting tens of thousands of dollars of revamping certain, buying all new appliances, buying all new washer and
right.
dryer.
It's going to cost you a lot of money. Where's
Right.
all
It
that money
doesn't just
coming
stop
from?
with that. Yeah, it just doesn't stop with the down payment or no
Right.
payment. You got
Right.
to have some cash on you, but that's why you got to.
Yes. Yes. No, I agree with that. But what the whole thing is, and the guru will agree here. You got to have a good working knowledge of how all this stuff works, because you got to be able to talk to a seller and convince him that you're a legitimate guy that has credibility and knows what they're doing. If not, they're going to throw you out of the room.
Yeah, they're going to take you seriously.
Right? What do you think, Guru?
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. The thing about real estate,
It's a job.
it's a job, and it takes, you know this, Vin, whether, like Michael will probably attest to this. When you're first a realtor, the it takes it, and this is like really fast from 0 to 60 in what, 4 seconds. It's 3 years. 3 years to get to 3 years as a realtor. So things aren't that quick.
Right.
So experience really matters. So what do? You don't have the experience. What do? Well, you go to the academy or people with experience who are going to do one-on-one or give you the attention.
Right.
These guys, they have too many people.
Yeah.
They got
They
thousands of
throw them in a
people.
Facebook group.
Yeah, they have other members trying to mentor them.
Yeah.
It's
And then,
impossible.
yeah, Grant Cardone,
You
he throws you on a phone call. There's 300 people on the phone call.
Yeah, you
What
can't.
are you going to
You
get out of
have to
that?
have, like, the deal you just structured, and the deal I structured, and you and I have the experience.
Yep.
But the deal you structured, you have to personally mentor that person and show them how to do it.
Oh, yeah.
You're not going to
Well said.
get it in this big community. It's
Yeah.
not going to happen.
Right.
So-
no doubt. No
I think the
doubt.
mentality is with a lot of these people is they want that Lambo tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah.
That
Instant
mega
gratification.
tomorrow.
Yep.
They want to do one deal. It's going to net them $1 million. Then
Yeah.
all of a sudden they're going to be experts and they want to put their own courses out.
Right.
And
Instant,
dude,
yep. Instant
there's a lot of real
gratification.
estate agents that start out and 80% or 90% don't make it past the first
No.
year. It's insane.
Yeah, the first year, yeah.
So
You know, I
can't-
remember I took my first real estate course. This is going back forever. So the instructor, right, there's about 30 of us in the class. He says, look around. 3 years, only 5% of you will be left. That's what he said.
Right. He's probably right.
Oh, she. It was, it was she. It was Walsh. That's what she said.
Wow.
And absolutely right.
It's true.
You know,
Wow.
you fail, and it's almost like with Morby and Grant. You go to a real estate broker, they throw you out. They say, read this course, look at this video. It's almost the same thing. They're not mentoring you, a broker.
No,
They
no.
want bodies. They hope you get lucky,
Yeah.
get some commissions to pay them too. So whatever you do in real estate, go to a place like the academy. You know, you need that. That's the only way you're going to succeed.
Well, because
If you-
because
you
the thing
know-
is, we're not teaching. See, the thing is, we're not teaching a program here, right? We're not teaching a program here, right? What we're teaching is we're saying, look, we're going to educate you on
You
how
have
all this stuff
responsibility, Ben.
works.
You
What's
have
that?
responsibility. You're responsible. You, not Pace.
Right.
You are giving. You have a conscience.
Right.
These other guys are
They have
just
none.
taking the money and running.
Yep.
That's all they're doing.
Yep. I know that.
You're just a number to them. You're a dollar sign to them. You're not like, oh, he said hi to me. We have a personal connection. He's going to mentor me personally.
Yeah.
Right.
He says it to everybody.
yeah.
He says
Yeah.
it to everybody. So here's the thing too. If you're going to become a real estate agent and you really want to be successful, like for example, I'm with Keller Williams.
Yep.
Like to my knowledge, and granted, I only know them. I don't know any other brokerage, but to me, they have a really good training program. They have training like 3-4 days a week, either through Zoom or in person. They have coaches there that will meet with you once a week, twice a week if you need to, that will help you with the contracts, will help you with trying to
Yeah.
generate these.
That's what you
Because a lot
need.
of mistakes,
Yeah.
yeah, the lot of mistake that I see new real estate agents or people that get into real estate think is, well, I know a lot of people. So I know, and I'm
Family and
personable.
friends are
Everybody
never
tells me
going
I'll
to.
be good at
Yeah,
this job, and like you go and and you're like, well, wow, my aunt's not selling her house, my best friend's not selling his house yet,
Yeah,
my
exactly.
other friend's not looking for a house yet. I'm like
Right.
running through the whole Rolodex, and none of like that's not how it works.
Yeah.
You have to
No.
go out there and just like any other business, you have to generate business, whether it's
Exactly.
all sale by owners, expires,
It's
knocking on doors. I mean, I've done it all, and I'm not saying that I'm like rolling in it, but
right,
I've
but
passed you.
you know
I've
that it
passed
takes hard
you.
work, but you learned that it's not as easy as
I
what
mean,
everybody makes it out to be.
well, think about how you and I met.
Yeah.
You and I met because you were it was a FISBO on Zillow. I cold called you. You
Yep.
picked up. We started
Yep.
talking, and all of a sudden I'm doing a podcast with you. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like
Hmm.
those kind of things you have to. You can't be afraid of the phone. You can't be afraid of rejection.
Yep.
It's going to happen. You
Right.
out of 100 calls, you're going to get rejected like 95 times.
But you do have to understand. You got like I got a phone call yesterday. Who I'm not trying to knock the girl. She was horrible. Right? Couldn't barely. Her English was horrible. Like just I'm not knocking that, but just they threw her out to the lines, and I'm talking. I'm like,
Right.
I would never deal with this one. You know what I mean? Like, no credibility, no anything. Like when I spoke with, like when when me and you spoke, Michael, it's like, all right, this guy's a legit guy. He knows what he's talking about, right? There's a guy I can talk to and wind up liking. But again, that's what me and the other guy talk about all the time. Like 99% of doing creative financing deals is being able to talk to the seller about everything but
Right.
the house.
mm-hmm.
Everything
Right.
but the house, right? Everything
And that's the
but.
thing. Right. You can't walk in like a salesman. If you're a real estate agent, you
Right.
can't just walk in like a salesman with your briefcase and a bunch of
Right.
PowerPoint presentations and forms and everything like that. I've seen that happen.
Well,
I walk in with nothing in my hand.
yep.
I shake their, I say, what's going on? Show me the house. And then we go through it. And I said, oh, well, go Birds. And then all of a sudden we talk about the Eagles. We
Yeah.
talk about,
Exactly.
little things. Work out. Do you like the gym?
It's true.
Get
Me
know
and
them
you.
on a personal level so they feel comfortable with you.
Yep.
And then, but the thing is, though, a lot of these people are being coached saying, "This is the script. This is
Yep.
what you got to follow.
Yeah.
This is what you have to say when you meet them."
Can't go by a script. Anybody who I
gotta
see
do
here's
this.
a script, I just say run
You don't want
away
to hear
from
a
that
robot.
person.
You don't want to hear a robot. In
Yep.
car sale, anything, you don't want to hear a robot. You want someone that you can say, "Oh, well, this guy sounds pretty good." And then you know
Yep.
what? If I buy from him, I'm going to recommend somebody else to him too. If they're in the market for a house or a car or whatever.
That's exactly right.
That's what you want to go for, not the commission, not like just necessarily getting the deal done. You want to be able to say at the end of the day, at the closing, thank you for your service.
Yep.
You know what? My neighbor needs to sell his house too. I'm going to recommend you.
Yep.
That to me
This,
is
this is another thing, Ben. I just saw it when Michael was talking. If you go into this business, whether you're a realtor or go to the academy, if you are desperate for money, that's going to cloud your
Yeah.
whole
Oh
plan.
yeah. Absolutely.
You're going to probably fail faster. So like you say,
Absolutely. So
if you
true.
have like 20 or that's all you have left, and you're saying, I'm going to put it all on the table,
Yep.
and I'm going to take, you're going to probably fail.
I totally agree with
You're
that.
probably going to fail because you're
Yep.
doing it out
You
of
do it for the wrong reason.
desperation.
Yep.
Well, you're thinking money, money, money,
Yep.
and you're not focusing,
Not
especially
yet.
with Pace Morby and Grant,
Yep.
because they're money machines, man.
Yep.
When you give that money and you're desperate,
Yep.
that's it, man.
Yep.
You might as well
You're just
burn that
you're
money.
by the way, you're just a number with those guys. You're just another
Another
30
card
grand,
number.
40
Yeah.
grand. That's all you are to them.
That's all you are. That's all you are.
are.
He doesn't know your first name. He doesn't even know what the first letter of your first name.
Nah,
He couldn't
and-
even the
nah.
lineup if you wanted to, and you
Right.
could have sat for 20 minutes.
Yeah. You pay a guy $40 to go meet him one on
know,
one.
there-
I
there
wouldn't pay
might have
fucking
been a
$10 million
time-
to meet any of them one on one. I'd spit on them.
Right.
Both
At
of
a
them.
time when Pace and Grant were good guys or they were small, and maybe they helped some people, but you can get so big, too big, that you cannot service everybody. You can't
There's
do
no
it.
look at Grant
It's
Cardone. Who's he
impossible.
servicing?
Don't
No,
claim
in
that
the
you can
beginning,
charge
when
him.
he first started in the business.
Okay, maybe he did. I'm not saying
Maybe,
he
that's
did.
what
Maybe
I'm
he
saying.
did, but not now. He's a
No,
marketing
not now.
machine. All he is a marketing
Right.
machine. He's
Listen,
a
the guy is
marketing
successful.
machine.
Yeah. You can't knock it. The guy is successful. He made his bones in real estate. He did his job, and now he's trying to sell it, the American dream, to all these
Yeah.
desperate people.
But well,
But the
they
thing is,
have equity. They have equity funds now. Both of
I
them. That's
guarantee,
the
I
thing.
guarantee people lost more money than they ever made with those guys. I
I,
guarantee more people lost their life savings with these idiots.
the fact
Guarantee
that,
it.
Yeah.
that guy dipped into his retirement for
Yeah.
this,
Well, don't you
insane.
think a lot of people do that? A lot of people.
I'm sure
Listen,
they do.
listen.
They
I
probably
can
take
tell.
a mortgage out on their home,
Listen, I
saying,
can tell you a
"This
story.
is it. This is the guy. This is what's going to get us over the top."
Yeah.
And you feel confident. You get motivated. You go up and you start doing it. And you're like, "It's not what I expected. Oh, how come I'm not getting any FaceTime with these guys? Like I
Yep.
was promised.
Yeah.
How much
They
more
sucker
money
you
do I
into
put
it.
in?" Right.
They
They're
sucker
But
you
they
in.
get
They get you
they
in,
get desperate.
and
But
then they
they're
blame
getting
and then they
desperate,
blame you
man.
that you're not doing anything right.
But at the end of the day, they're still adults.
Yeah.
They should be making educated choices
Yeah.
based on what their research, and not just based on, like he said, money. And
Emotion, and money.
a lot of
Yep.
people want that Lambo tomorrow. They want
Yep.
that. They want yacht tomorrow. They want to be on a yacht with 6 different women tomorrow.
Yep.
Like, you don't understand how hard that is to
Yep.
do.
Very
It's
hard.
really difficult.
Real
And
estate. Listen, real estate
remember, achievement,
investing.
they have
Real estate investing is like any other job out there. It takes a lot of time to learn how all this shit works, and then you got to get good at doing it, speaking about it, talking to, like there's so much
gotta
involved,
practice.
right? Yeah, you got to
If you're not good at
practice.
talking,
Yeah,
go out there and just start talking to strangers. Honestly,
yeah,
like
right.
that's not.
You're right.
Go out there and start talking to strangers. Start talking.
Yeah, right.
Make a podcast and record yourself.
Right.
Honestly, just start having a
You're
conversation
right.
with the
You,
you out the
you
supermarket.
are right in a way.
Hey,
I mean,
what's going on? How are you? I'm doing well. How are you?
listen,
Like,
me and the guru say
build
this
some
all the
confidence.
time. We say it all the time that people, when we talk to sellers, right, or buyers or whomever we're talking about, we rarely talk about the actual property. We're talking about something else because part of the thing is people want to do business with the people that they like, right? They want to enjoy their company. They want to enjoy speaking to them, right? And that's the thing you want to you want trying to do, trying to build that rapport with them so that you like them and they like you and you can do business together. That's what people. Well, you were talking about salespeople. You ask anybody out there, people hate salesmen. They hate them, right?
So
Listen,
you don't
I-
act like you don't act like a salesman. That's
No.
that's your message.
Yes, don't act like a salesman. Exactly.
Here's the thing that I related to is and I'm not coaching anybody. I'm not a mentor to anybody. I still have a lot to learn. But what I learned growing up, it's the same thing with girls. If you're a dude and you're trying to pick up girls, you don't just go up to them and start ripping off some scripted line and script up and like, hey, we should go on a date. We should do this. I think you're very pretty. I think, hold my hand. Give me a kiss goodnight. Like, it doesn't work that way. Girls like to be talked to as human beings. And then you make you feel comfortable, and then your true personality and character.
Exactly.
Same with sales. You can't just
So,
go
Michael,
in there thinking, I'm going to give you facts. I'm going to give you numbers. I'm going to tell you how much I did last year. No one cares. No one cares. They want to know what
cares.
now.
Nobody cares.
Right.
Nobody cares.
They don't want to deal with a robot.
Yep.
Michael, you have experience in business too, so you were a good fit for real estate because you had that fundamentals. You had that. You had that platform.
Well, you own restaurants, right, Michael? So, I mean,
that's the thing. I was just to say that owning the restaurants and having to force myself, because I was never.
That's a tough business.
It is, but having to force myself to talking to customers at the table. How was it? Great. And they start with small talk. You start. It's a skill. You can develop it. Anybody can develop it. No matter how shy you are, you think you are. If you get practicing and you build that confidence up, you can do it. You really can do it. But I suggest, being in the service industry. Go be a server. Go be a bartender. Go do where you force interact with people, and they'll get your confidence up in terms of how do you speak to people, knowing how they react to what you say. They might not like what you say. Now you got to shift gears and say, okay, how do I go from here to there with a smooth transition?
Yeah.
Those are stuff that just is not necessarily God-given talent. It's just you can work on that to get better. I was horrible at public speaking.
I agree with that. I agree with that. I know you agree with that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I bartend for 9 years. Oh, summers. I bartend in school.
And think about the conversations you had.
Oh, I was terrified going behind that bar.
Right.
Jesus. You know, I was young.
The more tips you
And
get,
my
then.
grandfather said, "Go behind the bar." I'm like, "What?" You know, and but it really taught me to be an extrovert. I was an introvert, as we all are when we're young, for the
Right.
most part, and
Yep.
it really was a good base for me to really interact, talk about nothing. You know,
Right. Like, you don't have to be
that
you don't have to be an expert on one certain area. You could just literally talk about anything
Yeah.
and just keep. And here's the one part that I tell people too: just sit back and listen.
Yeah.
Let them do the talking.
Yep.
There is so much information that you can pick up when you just listen and not listen just for keywords, but just listen to every single word that they are saying. And I promise you, you'll pick up stuff,
hmm
form your own thought based on that. But if you don't listen to them, you're lost.
Yep.
You're in no man's land, and now
Yep.
you got to fight back to get their attention. And then now, oh, this guy's not even listening to me. He's
Right.
interrupting constantly. He's interjecting constantly.
they
Like, just
probably
back and listen.
they probably told you, did they ever tell you in real estate, you know, the training, be a chameleon, where if someone's very low key, you want to bring it down. If someone has a lot of
Yeah,
energy,
I've heard
you
that.
bring it
Yeah.
up. So you're mirroring them.
Yeah. Know
So
your
they
audience.
start to like you
Yeah.
because they
Right.
Know
don't
your
realize
audience.
it. This guy is like me. So I kind of
Right.
like him.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
yeah.
And that's the thing. When I make the cold calls, I pay attention to how are they saying hello?
Yeah.
What's the
Yeah.
first thing out of their mouth? What's the tone?
Yeah.
Are they excited to talk to me? Are they willing to talk to me? Or are they just one of those, well, check Zillow, check this, and all the information is there? Because I've had those. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay,
Yeah.
no problem. I'm not going to be combative. I'm not going to be like, you're so rude. I can't do
Yeah.
that.
Yep.
But if I get a call, like when I was talking to Vinny, we like click just like that because
Yep.
the way his energy was, I fed off that. And I was able to bring that same energy over the phone. And we started talking, literally, we started talking about everything. And
Yep.
then we Grant Cardone within the first 10 minutes of of our conversation about the house. And we stopped talking about the house. Talking about,
And
let's
I
do
said,
this. And
boy,
then
I got a
you
guy for you who
podcast.
loves Grant. He loves Grant Cardone.
Oh gosh. Well, how are we on time there,
We're
boss?
gonna wrap it up. We're gonna
All right.
wrap it up. So the key is, folks, real estate is difficult. Okay, it's not as easy as you think. Whether you want to become a realtor or you want to become an investor, right? These guys are what they're telling you is real stuff. It's a skill that you have to learn. You're not going to be able to just pay somebody $40,000 and all of a sudden you're going to become rich and famous. Does
Right.
not happen. So
Right.
stay away from the gurus, especially Grant Cardone and Pace Morbley.
You
You can
got
find
your
the same
scroll
information
there
on
for your
YouTube.
phone number?
What's that? Yeah, it's down there somewhere.
Is it down there? Okay.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can't see
yeah,
anything.
yeah. Well, you text the word golden to the number 21,000, and my digital business card will
And
pop up.
maybe sometime here in the winter, before the winter, we could do a boot camp where we bring
Yeah,
Michael in,
yeah,
you
we
and
could do that.
I,
We could
you know,
definitely
like a
do
couple
that.
hours, you know.
We could definitely
We
do
could
that.
talk to people.
Yep,
Just talk to people.
yep,
Not pushing anything, just talk.
yep.
Yeah.
We could do that. Give people some good advice, whether they want
Yeah.
to get into it or not. Yeah, we could definitely do that. That's a
I'm
good
down for
idea.
that
Yeah.
too. Sure.
Yeah, we'll do that. All right, so everybody, thanks for coming along. We appreciate it. So,
All right,
Michael,
man.
thank you. Guru, good to
Thanks
see
for
you
having me, guys.
again.
I really do
Yeah.
appreciate it.
All right, we'll definitely have you back on again, Michael. It was fun. We enjoyed it. So, all right, everybody, listen.
Keep warm
Keep
up there,
warm. It
man.
is
Yeah.
cold.
Be
And
safe.
last but not least, go birds.
Go Birds.
Go birds. See you, everybody. Take care.
All right. Have a good one.
Bye bye.